call this public hearing to order. The public hearing is on July 29th, 2014 to adopt the proposed millage and tentative budget. I'd like to welcome you all. If you wish to speak under the public hearing, please fill out a card in the back of the room indicating your topic. Give it to the Board Assistant Zoe Marshall, who is located to my left. Item number 1 is a statement regarding the 2014 proposed millage and 2014-15 tentative budget. We're missing Frank Kovach, who is caught in traffic on the highway and is on his way here now. The legal requirements for the millage and tentative budget. Florida Statute 200.065(2)(e) states that the School Board of Sarasota County, Florida will soon consider a budget for 2014-2015. A public hearing to make a decision on the budget and taxes will be held on July 29, 2014 at 1980 Landings Boulevard, Sarasota, Florida. During such discussion, the governing board shall hear comments regarding the proposed millage rate. The general public shall be allowed to speak and to ask questions prior to adoption of any measures by the governing body. The governing body shall adopt its tentative or final millage rate prior to adopting its tentative or final budget. Item number 2, public hearing regarding proposed millage rate. I would like to open the public meeting for the board to hear public comments regarding the tentative millage rates and answer questions. There are no cards. The proposed 2014 millage rate public hearing is now closed. Item number 3, the adoption of a 2014 proposed millage rate. May I have a motion?
I would move that the following millage rates be accepted as presented. Required local effort, 4.529 mils. Discretionary operating, 0.748 mils. Capital, 1.5 mils. Voting operating, 1 mil.
Second.
Any discussion? Please vote. And the vote carries 4, 1 not present. 4 yes, 1 not present. Item number 4, public hearing regarding the 2014-2015 tentative budget. I'd like to open the public meeting for the board to hear public comments regarding the tentative budget and answer questions. There are no members here to ask questions, so the public hearing is now closed. Item number 5, the adoption of the 2014 tentative budget. May I have a motion?
I move the adoption of the 2014-15 tentative budget.
Second.
Any discussion? Please vote. And the vote results are 4 yes, 1 not present. Mrs. Brown.
I know that there isn't a lot of public in the audience, and we had rather detailed discussion on this last week. But online, the Sarasota News did a very extensive discussion on what the budget was all about, and it's the Sarasota News Journal online, pages 8 to 13. They did a rather extensive discussion of what the budget is and some of the highlights in it. And if some of you want to look that up, that would be a good place to go. Of course, you can come back to us again too. But I think it's good that we look to have turned the corner now, and we don't have to be looking at those deep cuts that we've had to. And we're going to have a good fund balance when we end this year. And I really think it's been not just the work that our staff has done this year, but the work that we have been doing over the last
6 years.
6 years to bring us to this point. And we've kept those cuts away from the classroom as much as we could. and I think we've weathered the storm. And I think it just goes to, the tip of the hat to Superintendent White and our budget staff, but also our staff in general for tightening their belts and getting us through these times, and look forward to those better days ahead. Thank you for all you've done.
Mrs. Zucker.
I just wanted to take a moment to thank staff, because we wouldn't be in this position if you all hadn't tightened the budget and helped us through the last 5 years when we've been cutting the budget. So again, Al Widener and his staff, and Mitzi Corcoran and Superintendent White, and all of our staff. I mean, you all have taken the hits. You've done more work than you ever did in the past, because we've had to cut more and more people. So I just want to know that this board, let you know that this board recognizes how tough it's been, not only on us, but on you as well, making those recommendations. And it's nice to be in the position that we are in this year. And again, Al, you kept those numbers. Thank goodness for your conservative budgeting that you've been doing over the years.
Well, I just want to add thank you to the community for passing the referendum in March of this year by 77%. Without those referendum dollars, we would not have this great opportunity to be sitting here and doing as well as we're doing. We all know that the community has been behind us, and we thank them for that. And we also know how difficult it is now to be in the teaching world and to be teaching. And we thank our staff, our teachers who will be coming back shortly, and we look forward to moving forward and doing some rather exciting and new things in the educational realm in the future. Any other questions?
I do have
Mrs. Brown.
I just wanted to comment on, we are required by law to post something in the paper and to present our budget in such a way, and it may be confusing to some when they saw the notice of budget that was in the paper that we are going to be increasing the required local effort that is set by the state by 2.42%, even though we might be just talking about reducing the required local effort. And that's because while the tax rate is going down 0.193, the property values have gone up, and there's been more properties put on the entire tax roll for the Sarasota County. That's why, even though your millage rate has gone down, the taxes that we have to post in the paper, it says the rate went up. So most of you should be seeing a little decrease unless your property went up really good, and yay to you. Mine didn't, so I'm probably still going to see a decrease. Thank you.
We're adjourned.
No matter what we do.
Yeah.
So, what have the challenges been for you?
I think my biggest challenge was probably in the beginning of the season. I was a question machine, and I would have my script, and my guests would be sitting there, and they would answer, and I would just ask the next question and not even comment back to what they just said. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like since we've done more shows and more practicing and more rehearsals and more coaching sessions, it's really been easier to have a couple prompts and go off of that. And brainstorm some questions beforehand so you have an idea of what you would ask, but not necessarily all 20 questions, because if you have those 20 questions and our time limit that we have for each segment, sometimes you don't always get to the time because you have all these questions and you're just a question machine. So it's like, boom, 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 got to get all these questions done.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's like being present.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
I
what's
wasn't
really
always
there.
present there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Joan and Carol.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Karen Bogus and all the people at CYD who support this show. And on behalf of all the CYD TV hosts, we want to thank all of our terrific guests this season. I especially want to say a big thank you to Kim Stocker at the Education Channel. Kim was an important part of our youth adult partnership. She helped us get on the air, coach us, and was a great supporter. Thank you, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next year on CYD TV.
Thanks. That was really good.
She graduated.
Wasn't that good?
That's wonderful.
How was
You
it?
guys were amazing.
It was
Yeah.
like a conversation, right?
It was terrific. Good job, everybody.
Thank you. It was just like a conversation, and things she said were great.
Thought of a great question, but then I looked and I was like,
What was it? What was it?
What is one thing you could have taken away from this experience?
That you could have taken?
Yeah.
That we did take away?
No, that we took away or could have taken.
No, I think you got it all.
I think you got it.
covered
I think you got it.
Oh,
Oh, so we didn't pay attention. So it worked well?
Yeah, it looked great.
I thought when I looked down and it was
Yeah.
7 minutes and I was already down here, I was like, think of a question, think of a question, think of a question.
Yeah, it was great.